Heading into the 2022 season, the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of things to improve upon, but they are in a good position. The Eagles last year probably outdid a lot of people's predictions. Not probably, they did, right? A lot of people said we were going to go 3 wins, 4 wins, and we were able to make the playoffs. But this year, there's a lot of eyes on a lot of different people. The guy I want to make sure that I keep my eye on is going to be Jonathan Gannon. So in this video, I kind of want to go over what I believe he has to do in order to get the best out of this defense. So let's get into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today I want to talk a little bit about Jonathan Gannon and what I want to see out of his defense. Shout out to my shirt right there. Let's see if we can get that in a nice frame. You know what I'm saying? One is better than 4. That's basically what it's saying. Yeah, these aren't for sale. I just made this shirt because I wanted to be a troll and it's fun. But before we get into any of that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 4K. We would love for you guys to join that ride. So today I want to talk about Gannon, Jonathan Gannon. Last year, it was very frustrating watching his defense. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Watching Jonathan Gannon kind of muddle through the season, not really changing anything about his defense. A lot has been said that, you know, he didn't feel he had the correct pieces, the correct players to fit his system. And this year, obviously, that changes. But even so, we saw Nick Sirianni change up his play style when he realized that passing so much wasn't working. We didn't see the same thing out of Jonathan Gannon. So I'll jump right into it and I'll start there. I need to see Jonathan Gannon be a little bit more diverse in his play calling. We've heard time and time again, and I believe it when I see it, that he wants to run this multiple front type defense, that he wants to be so unique and so, you know, exotic with his packages and everything. And that sounds good. We have players that can fill that, but the lack of willingness to or ability maybe to just change your system in some type of way. I felt like we were playing a base defense for 90% of last year's snaps, and it just didn't work. It just did not work. We were asking our players to just man up some of the best players in the league, and it just shot ourselves in the foot a million times. So Gannon, that's the first thing I need to see you do is when something's not going right, if you start going to 3-4 a lot and you're realizing, hey, I need to bring pressure in this package, or I need to lay off on the pressure in this package and help my back end a little bit. Make those decisions, make those game time adjustments, those halftime adjustments, which we're so used to seeing prior to this camp. I feel like obviously it's only 1 year, so I'm hoping that changes. But Jonathan Gannon has to change things up, and he has to be willing to do that on the fly. So that's my number one thing with Jonathan Gannon right now. The next thing is going to be making sure he's utilizing his youth in the right way. You know, a lot of different teams, I'm not even going to say it was us last year. It really wasn't. But prior to that season, and obviously it was a different, you know, coaching staff, we've seen a lot of contracts play and not necessarily players nor talent. I don't want to see that this year. I don't want to see, you know, if Fletcher Cox is not playing as well as Jordan Davis, guess what? Jordan Davis is going to get an increase in snaps. And I need to see that. I love Fletcher Cox. I love Jason Kelsey. I guess Jason Kelsey doesn't matter. That's more on Sirianni. We're just focusing on Gannon. But I love Fletcher Cox. I love TJ Edwards. I like all these guys, you know, even down to Darius Slay. I really don't care. All these guys are great players, but if they don't play well, you have to put players in there that are going to succeed. And if that's a no-name guy we had no idea was going to be good, I don't want to see you scared to pull that trigger. There's been so many times with the Philadelphia Eagles where, again, we see contracts play. We see guys that are getting money, so they have to be in that starting lineup. We've seen it with Jason Peters. We've seen it with Derek Barnett is kind of feeling like that, especially just with his first round tag. I feel like they're trying to make that extend his life a little bit and make it look a little bit better. We've seen it so many times, and I don't want to see it this year. I don't believe Fletcher Cox will fall off. I don't believe Javon Hargrave will have a bad season. I don't believe Brandon Graham is finished. I think that he'll still be very impactful, but you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to look at the production that these players are giving you. And if it doesn't match what you need, I don't care how much they're getting paid. If there's $20 million on our bench and we're a way better team, I'm cool with it. I really am cool with it. And if you're not, then you're not a fan of the team. You're just trying to make it look cute. Like, I don't care what jerseys are selling. I don't care what jerseys I buy. I care that we win. So you have to be able to make those moves. And it's going to suck. It really is. But Gannon, your job is on the line just as much as anybody else. So I don't feel like you should be afraid of making those moves. So I think that that's number 2. You have to be able to pull the trigger when you know somebody or something is not working with certain players, right? Last year we saw it with Fletcher Cox saying that he wasn't really fit in the system. I didn't see a big difference in the. They didn't ask him to, guard screen plays anymore, and I guess that's the change he wanted. But, I didn't really see much of a change in the defense. I think they just kind of said, well, this is what we run. So I think Fletcher Cox just kind of quieted down on his own and didn't really get what he wanted. I don't want to see that this year. If you feel somebody else is going to fill that position better, then you utilize them. And it's plain and simple like that. Now, the last thing I want to see, this is opinion. This is really opinion. There's no, you can go either way with this. You can say that we don't have the personnel. You can say we do. I need my team back in the top 3 in sacks. If we are not getting pressure, if the front 4 is not getting pressure, front 5, however you want to push it, if they are not getting pressure, you send some blitzes, man. We have a lot of good edge rushers. We have a lot of guys that can play with their hand in the dirt, or they can stand up on the outside. Utilize that. We have Nakobe Dean, who was an absolute animal when it came to reading and reacting. Absolute animal when it came to, reading holes and being able to blitz through those holes and being able to break up run plays by just filling in gaps. You have to get a little bit more aggressive. Last year, we allowed quarterbacks like 20 minutes, it felt like. They didn't need it. Shout out to Gate City. I know in the round table we did, we basically got thrown on in like 2.5 seconds. So they didn't really need the time, but they had it. If they needed the time, they had it. The Eagles just sent no pressure. The Eagles were not getting pressure. At the very least, we are a team that gets to the quarterback a lot. Do we get him down all the time? Not necessarily, right? You look at people like Brandon Graham. You look at people like even a Derek Barnett, even a Josh Sweat to a certain extent, even though his sack numbers I feel like are even going to increase this year, especially with all this team around him. But they don't get to the quarterback and bring him down as much as you'd like, but they pressure that quarterback, and they pressure the quarterback at one of the highest clips in the NFL. So you bring that back. You bring a guy like Reddick that's been known to finish plays, especially this last 2 years. You got a Jordan Davis that's just going to eat up blocks at the very worst. Like that's the thing. Jordan Davis doesn't need to have 7-8 sacks. If he just plugs up the middle and demands a double team every single play, Javon Hargrave is going to start eating, right? These are all guys that I feel like if you just use the cards that you were dealt in the proper way, Jonathan Gannon, you should have us back in that top 3. You should have us back in that top 3. And I'm not saying top 5. I want to be back in that top 3. I am a defensive guy. I love good defense. So bring that back to me, Jonathan Gannon. Bring that back to me. With all that said, I do believe that Jonathan Gannon will improve this year. I don't think that there's much area to not improve. I don't think it can get much worse than it was last year. We obviously beat up on bad teams, so maybe we start sucking against bad teams, and maybe that's how it gets worse. But we just when it's a guy that can throw the ball, we just looked lost. He gave way too much respect to these quarterbacks, and that kind of goes with the bringing pressure. He gave way too much respect to these guys, wanted to play back, and it's not like you're saying I'm going to rush my front 4 and play man up and double team their good guy. You were just playing like back. You were playing back. You were playing 10 yards back, 5 yards back. It felt like Jim Schwartz on 4th down, but every play. Felt like Jim Schwartz on his 3rd and long and 4th and long ridiculous plays that he used to call. Felt like that almost every play against good quarterbacks. That can't continue. So those are really the 3 things I need to see Jonathan Gannon improve upon. And again, I think he will. You know what I'm saying? I have high regard for what a lot of people have been telling me about him. And what I mean by that is I have high regard for the people that are telling me to trust this guy, to believe in this guy. Those guys know what they're talking about, right? I've talked to Fran, I've talked to Dave. They've all said that this guy is at the very least someone that's going to get his troops to go to war with him. So let's see what happens, right? On that note, I do have tomorrow at 7:30, I have Derek Gunn coming on the show at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Me and D Gun chop it up. I haven't. It's been about 9 months since we've had him on here, so I'm excited to have him back. So I hope you all tune in for that. But other than that, y'all know what it is. Let me know what y'all thinking in the comments. But fly Eagles fly. We out here. Oh, hold on. No, my shirt. Hold on, my shirt. Hold on, you gotta see my shirt. Hold on, my shirt.
Everywhere, this is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly was flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling with Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man soft. Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randolph. Season head, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning